Welcome aboard. I'm Ted Everingham, and this is Great Lakes Log from WMTV at the Grosse Pointe War Memorial. Those of you who know me well or watch the show regularly, or both, know that I get very excited about kids learning to sail. And that's because I enjoy the sport so much, but it's also because there are life lessons to be learned from learning how to sail a boat as a kid. So you're going to be happy to meet, as I was, Harry Jones. Harry's the president and executive director of a program called the Challenge the Wind Youth Sailing Program, based at Keens Marina in Detroit. But we'll talk more about that with Harry. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for inviting me, Ted.
All the way down from West Bloomfield on a March morning.
Right.
It's great to have you here.
Good, good. Always
President.
Good to come to the lakeside of this.
Well, it is. There's something great about the lake.
Right.
You've been involved with the Challenge the Wind Sailing Program for how long?
About 5 years, 4 years actually involved in running the program now.
But it goes back earlier than that.
Oh, it goes way back. The program started in 1994, there and abouts. There's a sail club, a paper sail club in Detroit called the Grey Haven Sail Club Detroit. And the members all had boats at the old Grey Haven Sail Club, which are marina, which is now reopened, I understand. And they got together, formed basically a social club, but a couple of the members wanted to do more than that and put in our charter, in our bylaws, as the second purpose, in addition to getting the group together, is to teach young people how to sail, people that wouldn't otherwise get involved in sailing. So that's basically how it got started, and that was in 1994.
So that's an integral part of the purpose of your club.
Exactly.
That's wonderful. And you're based where? Right
now the sailing activity is in Keens Marina. Mike Litz, the owner of Keens, has been absolutely wonderful. He lets us store the boats there in the wintertime. We moor them. He gives us a couple of docks that he's not using, and that's what we use for teaching the class. And we have we've got 3 Flying Scots that we use that were donated by the Detroit Boat Club. Larry Breskin, you know Larry?
I know Larry.
Yeah, right. It seems like everybody knows Larry. He's been involved with Challenge the Wind for many, many years. And the program has had its ups and downs. And about 4 or 5 years ago, Cliff Papin, one of the founding members of the Grey Haven Sail Club, whom you met, he and I started talking about the fact that the youth sailing program just wasn't running the way we would like it to run. And we decided that rather than talk about how something should be, we should do something about it as opposed to just complain about it. And since then, he and I have been intimately involved in it, and we sort of stuck our toe into it. And next thing we knew, we were basically handed the keys to the to it. And we decided, we changed the format to go from once a week for 8 weeks, once a week, for 8 weeks to 2 straight Monday through Friday weeks that we found work much better. We take teenagers, 13 to 19 years old. That's our target audience. most of the participants generally end up in 14, 15, some 16. We've had 19-year-olds. We've had 13-year-olds. But the 14, 15, 16 seem to be sort of the sweet spot
Sure.
of that age group that are interested in learning to sail.
So you have so far you have a 2-week session,
Right,
2-week session,
right.
5
right,
days a week.
Right.
And what are the dates this year?
This year, the dates are going to be starting July 28th, and they'll run through August the
Right.
August the 8th.
But you can only accommodate, what, 12, 15,
12.
16?
We had 13 last year, and that's with 3 boats. You can do the math that
Sure.
Scots have Flying Scots. I may have said Great Scots. Flying Scots have large cockpits, but if ideally an instructor and no more than 4 students on a boat, so that each participant there has something to do to keep them from.
Been there, done that.
Yeah.
I learned to sail in those very boats.
Did
at the
you?
Detroit
Yeah.
Yacht Club.
Yeah,
The Flying Scott's a 19-foot sloop, which means it has a mainsail and a jib up front. It's 19 feet. It's rather beamy, very stable,
Oh,
and lots of room for 4 students and an instructor, because I not only learned there, I taught there.
oh, did you?
In the same boat. So you have
yeah.
3 of those.
Mhm.
We'll talk about your expansion dreams here in
Sure.
a few minutes.
Sure.
How do you staff this? Do you use certified instructors?
Yeah, one of the things that we wanted to do and felt a need to do with the population that we're trying to serve, the parents, and we recognize it's the moms that we have to focus on. The dads are fairly easy. If they're halfway interested in seeing their kid go sailing, then next thing you know, the kid's going sailing. But moms are a bit skeptical about it, and so one of the things that we wanted to do was to reinforce that our instructors are U.S. Sailing certified, so there's a standard,
Yes.
a national standard curriculum. We have certified first aid requirements for the instructors. We have lifeguard, the certified lifeguard that's on a chase boat, and we do that all for our own sanity and safety, but also to reinforce with the parents that we're taking your loved one out in what you view as a very dangerous environment, and we're taking all the precautions that we can to make sure that they stay safe. So to answer your question, we get the instructors that we've gotten. Some are within the club. Others, there's an organization called the American Sailing Institute.
Yes.
That teaches adults, and some of the participants in that have had an interest in teaching kids, and we've been able to get a couple of instructors from them to help us, and they've been just absolutely outstanding to help us teach the course, put together the curriculum, and run the course.
The course costs $250
Right.
for
right,
a 2-week
right,
period.
Right.
That's got to be a challenge for some of the families.
Yeah, it is. And what we've managed to do is raise money to offset that. And so what our typical actual, sort of like in a college university, Harvard has its stated tuition, $250 is our stated tuition. We subsidize most of the kids with scholarships, and so it runs roughly around $100 for a 2-week session that runs from 9 to 2. We provide them with light snacks and food in the morning, and at lunchtime we encourage them to bring their lunch. So they're getting, it's more than just a sailing course that they're getting some refreshments as well as the actual instructions. And so we debated on whether or not to make it absolutely free, and found that because there is an obligation to get up in the morning, parent, and get their child down to the marina, that we wanted them to have a little bit of skin in the game, and so charging them something, and $100 seemed very reasonable. It's attainable by most, and we've even, much to my chagrin, have allowed some of the parents to go on a payment plan to to do it.
We've had this conversation before in part. I think it's really, really important that the family have a commitment.
Yeah.
Have a reason to get up and get the kid down to Keens at 9 in the morning
Right.
for 10 weekday mornings. That's
Right.
important.
Right.
Where and how do you find the participants?
Yeah, that was a challenge.
I know it was.
In the early days of the Challenge the Wind program, the Girl Scouts adopted the program, and they were handling all of the bringing the kids and actually bringing them and delivering them to the facility. And when Cliff and I and the other board members talked about rejuvenating the program, we decided, well, we certainly want a coeducational program. So we realized that we couldn't rely on another organization to provide us, to handle the administration of providing us. So we put together basically, and this year I've refined it a bit, we've got a participant recruiting committee, and it's made up of some teachers in some of the local schools, as well as some of the parents of previous participants. And they get we provide them with the information, the brochures, and the other information that I've sent you that describes the program, what's in it, et cetera. And they distribute it through the various channels and their contacts. Primarily it goes out, we've got several charter schools that are using the program as something that their parents can involve their kids in beyond the walls of the school, beyond the school year. And so they've been very good at getting the word out. And we're looking for a unique set of circumstances, so the recruiting part of it, recruiting participants, is a huge part of getting the program up and running every year, because we're looking for the child obviously being interested in it, but we also want the parent, and we've found, and we've had the experience where one or the other is interested, but not both.
Yeah.
And that raises challenges.
Oh, sure. Of course it does. So let me ask this about those kids you're trying to recruit. They're, you said, 13 to 19 years old, roughly.
Mm-hmm.
Co-ed.
Right.
So gender doesn't matter. What do they need to have to get into the program other than their share of the cost? Prior sailing experience at all?
No sailing experience. One of the things that we debated quite a bit, and I'm sort of glad that I lost the argument, is swimming experience. Some of the people that Cliff, for one, Papin, and some of the other board members who've been involved on and off of the program longer than I said, putting a swimming requirement is going to exclude a huge potential population. And I said, but it's important to have kids knowing how to swim, of course. Well, I finally gave up on that and said, okay, and I'm glad I did, because between the things that we can do in terms of keeping the kids safe with personal flotation devices, and chase boat, and a lifeguard, we use the opportunity to teach those participants and their parents the value of getting them into a swimming program, which is one of the things that we do. So swimming's not a requirement. We prefer that they know how to swim, but it's not a requirement. Just coming and having the desire to learn and making the commitment to stick with it for the 2 weeks is all we ask of them.
So you provide personal flotation devices, life jackets?
Yeah, we provide life jackets. We provide the instructing material. That's the U.S. Sailing standard curriculum, learning to sail book. And I realized I picked up the intermediate one.
This is the intermediate one.
Yeah, but it's the basic first time sailing.
The point is the United States Sailing Association,
Right.
the governing body for the sport in the United States,
Right.
develops curricula,
Right.
publishes books like this. This is for intermediate, but it's
Right.
a comparable book.
Mhm.
The reason you picked up this one instead of the other one is they look very much alike.
They do.
So this is not a fly-by-night, seat-of-the-pants program.
No.
This is a proven curriculum.
Exactly. We wanted to.
Do the kids need, what about shoes?
Yeah,
Soft-soled shoes.
I've learned to call them flip-flops as opposed to what you and I called them when we were wearing them. We have to, before the class starts, so I sent out a communication last year, and it worked real well. We had an orientation picnic down at King's and talked to the parents and the students about proper dress for being on a sailboat, and clothes, shoes, hat, sunglasses, maybe a tether for the sunglasses, a refillable water bottle that they can take out on, and although it's July and August in Detroit, bring a sweatshirt, a jacket, or something, because sometimes it gets a little breezy out there. So we go through all of that with them before the class. We still have some that we have to work on. Where's your sunglasses? Where's where's your hat?
They are kids.
Yeah, they
are kids.
They are.
We've talked before about this. There are things beyond how to rig and steer and dock a sailboat these kids are learning. What are some of the, what I'll call non-sailing related skills that they learn?
One of the ones that I'm most happy, and I come from a human resources, education development background, so as a part of the add to the U.S. sailing curriculum, put a lot of active learning into the way that we teach the class. Also, what I'm happy to see is that things that we try to instill in the kids in the sailing environment really works well, like teamwork. One of the things that, obviously it takes a team to sail a boat, particularly a Scot. I mean, it's not a single-handed sailboat at all. So it really does well to reinforce just the basic teamwork. The other things that it does is, we do have disputes out on the water about various, whose turn is it to steer? Is my turn to steer, not yours? You already had a chance to steer, now it's mine. Or if you have teenage girls and boys on the same boat, you're gonna have some issues. And so dispute resolution, the thing that I most like seeing coming out of it, particularly with the girls, is confidence. As both boys and girls, when they first show up, many of them are deathly afraid of the water. That's a whole nother story.
Just because they've not had the experience.
Not had the experience to be around water. They may have gone on a bridge to Belle Isle and looked down and noticed that there was water down there. May have on the beach, gone swimming, but never gone off of a dock into into deep water. And by taking them step by step, we get them to overcome that fear of water, because it's real, and it's something that we do have to deal with before we can get them out on a sailboat and have them focused on learning to sail. And a lot of it comes from their parents being just deathly afraid of water, and reinforcing the fear of being around water.
Program's been in existence since 1994. It's successful. It's limited in size because of limitations in available assets.
Right.
You have a 10-year program that your brochure describes. It would have you going from 3 boats today to 8 boats 10 years from now with steps.
Right.
From 12 or 16 participants to 88 participants.
Right.
From 1 2-week session to 4 2-week sessions. I take it the limitation there is pretty much available physical assets.
Assets, right.
So you're looking, well, you have 3 Flying Scots, you say now, and you've got 1 member's 12-foot fishing skiff.
Right.
And when we first met, I said, boy, I wouldn't want to be the person in the 12-foot fishing skiff trying to pick up somebody if I had to, because it's a little small. Then you've got life jackets, and you buy the books from U.S. Sailing and so forth. You're looking for more boats. You're looking. What are you looking for?
Yeah. In order to expand, we've intentionally tried to keep the program under the radar screen for the first couple of years that we were running it, because we just simply wanted to make sure that we understood how to deliver the curriculum, how to recruit the participants that we wanted to have in the program, and what is it going to take to grow the program. And we've gotten to that point where we're fairly confident that our curriculum will work well. It's expandable. We're fairly confident that with the assistance and the help that Mike Litt's giving us at Keene's, we've got the ability to expand the program. But the additional sailboats, we're out actively looking right now to buy a 420 that we can use in an advanced program, that we would take participants from prior years and put them on a smaller 420 and have them focus on sailing with just 2 of them on the boat without an instructor on the boat, with the hopes of getting them involved in 1 or 2 of them involved in the DRYA's regatta racing.
The junior sailing program.
Junior sailing program. So the other things that we're looking at is additional Scots to run the program. The Detroit Boat Club through Larry Breskin's has been very helpful. We're finding we've got a lead on a couple of other Scots that we're going to try and buy if we can get the price right. And those are the kinds of things that we're needing to use to expand the program. One of the things, and I hate sounding like I'm coming to you with hat in hand and on my knees, but we do need funds. What we found, we've approached a lot of different large organizations, and sailing has this image that you're fully aware of that cause people to think, their eyes glaze over, and all the things that they think about sailors come to mind. We found that primarily within the sailing community is where we can approach people that have a feel for what we're doing and can be supportive. Now, we have gotten donations beyond the sailing community, but focusing in on the sailing community and the people that live around the water seems to work, as we desperately, in order to make those growth plans that you were work, we definitely need donations.
So you could need money. You could use in kind. If somebody wanted to give you a Flying Scot, you'd probably take it.
I would probably take it.
Or a new crash boat.
Right, chase boat.
Chase boat. And you have plenty of volunteers, I assume.
Yeah, I mean, we can always use more volunteers. And one area where I know we're going to, if this advanced sailing program takes off, we're going to need some help from some of the experienced younger sailors that are involved in racing to help coach the kids, to get them prepared to campaign.
Sure.
We'll start with one 420. We'd like to get a couple of them, but we'd like to get some students that are ready to campaign, and they're going to need coaching that we can't give them. So we are going to need some volunteers in that sense.
My guess is those will be easy to find. Do you have some people on your board who are able to reach into that community?
Right, right.
I might even have a friend or two who
Good,
could help you
good.
with that regard.
Good.
So assets and money,
Mm-hmm.
every little bit helps. I know you've talked to the Grosse Pointe Youth Nautical Education Foundation.
Yeah. There's two organizations that have really stepped up. One of them is the International Blue Gavel, Bill Fair, who got to meet in a circuitous way. Chairs the Blue Gavel, this organization of past Commodores, of boats, power and sailboats. They have an international organization, which I was completely unaware of. One of the members of the Greyhaven Sail Clubs is pretty involved in the Blue Gavel organization, and long story short, they gave us a pretty sizable grant to help us to start looking at being able to buy some boats. And then just late last year, when I met you and Jim Morrow through the Grosse Pointe Nautical Youth
Nautical Education Program.
Education Foundation.
Foundation. I practice foundation.
Foundation has just been a breath of fresh air for us, and has really charged our board up. It says, yep, those growth plans that we all signed up to, we can see light at the end of a tunnel by being connected with yourself and Jim and
well, you have a great program going, and it serves a population of people who might never go sailing, might never get on the water without you. So they're grateful to you. Those of us who love the sport as you do are grateful to you. And Keens it's great if Mike lit to help. Keens is a perfect place for this program, it seems to me. It's in a relatively sheltered spot there in the river. And 5 days a week for 2 weeks makes a lot of sense to me.
Within that 2 week period of time, we can count on having a few days of the demonstrating how sailing could be a little bit boring, and other times it can be really frightening.
That's all there is to it. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you. Thank
you
for
luck.
Inviting us.
Thanks for being with us. We'll look for you next time right here on Great Lakes Log.